Hey everybody! So for the next few weeks to end to the school year, we are going to be doing an author study. The author is Chris Van Allsburg. He is an author and an illustrator. In all of his books, he does write the words and he does illustrate the pictures. And he has won many, many, many awards for his books. And in fact, two of his books have been made into major motion pictures. The first one being Jumanji. Jumanji started out as a picture book, and also the story The Polar Express was also Chris Van Allsburg's book originally, and has now been made into a very popular movie that's seen at Christmas. Like I said, he is the author, so he writes the stories and he draws the pictures. Now, one thing I want to say about Chris Van Allsburg that I love, he's a tremendous artist. You'll see in his books, everything he does is, some of it is done in black and white, and that's usually just pencil and paper, and some is in color, but he has amazing detail, and as a matter of fact, the illustrations are a very, very big part of the story themselves. Because one thing that Chris Van Allsburg is very good at is having the reader wondering and guessing what has happened at the end of the story. One thing he likes to do is add a little bit of magic, fantasy to his story. If you think about, if you know Jumanji or Polar Express, there is a bit of magic and fantasy to it. And he always wants his reader to be wondering and guessing how the story ended, and to figure out about the characters. He doesn't come out and say the character is mean or the character is great or the problem is this. He wants his readers to imagine and use their imagination to figure out what the story is all about, to figure out who the character is, and to figure out how they think that the story has ended. He always leaves the ending in sort of a question. It could happen. It could have ended this way. It could have ended another way. It really depends on your opinion. So he's one of my favorite children's authors, and I do this book study at the end of the year, pretty much every year, because I just love his stories, and all the students that do the study have really enjoyed his stories as well. So we're going to start off with something that you probably haven't heard of. It's a story called The Sweetest Fig. A fig is a fruit. You can find them, I guess fig Newtons might be the most famous type of, you might have heard of fig Newtons. Also, figs can be found in, I think, some jellies and jams, but it is a sweet fruit. And this story is about a dentist. I'm not going to tell you anything about him, because when you hear the story, based on how people interact with him, you're going to find out exactly what kind of person he really is. And then something kind of unusual happens, and you're going to have to figure out how the ending works, what exactly has gone on. And some people might have a different opinion than you, and that's okay, because no one, either way, whatever it might be, that's the great thing. It really is not a wrong answer. So I will tell you, though, this story takes place in Paris, France. Now, the main character is, like I said, he's a dentist, and they call him Monsieur Bilbeau. Monsieur is French for Mr. So when you hear Monsieur Bilbeau, that means Mr. Bilbeau. Also, Bilbeau is spelled with a T at the end, but because it's there in France, the T is silent. Also, they talk about one of his customers doesn't have money, and it's called francs. Like we have dollar bills. Over there they use francs. Trying to think. They reference Bastille Day. Bastille Day is like the 4th of July, except over in France. It's their Independence Day. It's called Bastille Day. So I don't believe they come out and say that it takes place in Paris, but because of those clues that you can understand that that's where it is. Also, one fun fact. Chris Van Allsburg had, when he first started writing, he had a dog. I believe it was a standard bulldog. It was white and black, and he named it Fritz. Now, Chris Van Allsburg does something pretty funny. He puts Fritz in all of his books. And sometimes Fritz can be the main character and the dog's name is Fritz. Sometimes Fritz can be a toy on a child's shelf in their bedroom. Sometimes it could be a character, but it's not the name Fritz. So this particular story, the main character is the dentist and his dog, Marcel. And Marcel is actually Fritz in real life. So when you read any Chris Van Allsburg books, you always have to look, where's Fritz? And there he is, right down there. He is one of the main characters. His name is Marcel in the story, but that's kind of something fun to do. Anytime you read or look at a Chris Van Allsburg book, you always want to find where Fritz is. Sometimes it's very obvious and he's the main character, but sometimes he might be like on a decoration on someone's shirt, or a toy in the background on a shelf in a child's room, or he might be in a field with other animals. So anytime I read a Chris Van Allsburg book, I always tell my students, where's Fritz? Okay, so you're going to hear the story, The Sweetest Fig, and then you're going to have a few questions that I want you to answer. Now remember, everybody might get something different, because it's just based on your opinion and what you think has happened, based on what you heard and what you saw in the story. So I hope you enjoy The Sweetest Fig and Chris Van Allsburg. Next week, we will do another Chris Van Allsburg story, so I'm really excited about it. It's something I love to do every year because, like I said, he's one of my favorite authors. So I hope he becomes one of yours, and he's got just an amazing amount of work. Lots of stories to choose from, and I hope you enjoy our first one called The Sweetest Fig. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.